My sister told my dad I was sneaking boys into my room to get me in trouble, so I told him something too. She's been grounded for the past month. Ivy and I had been sharing a room since we were kids. She was the perfect daughter who knew exactly how to make our parents think she walked on water. I was the one who got blamed for everything, who said sorry even when it wasn't my fault, who never fought back. Ivy loved that about me. She'd break curfew and blame traffic, fail tests, and say the teacher had it out for her, and I'd back up whatever story she told. She knew I was safe, that no matter what she did, I'd never snitch on her. That's why she felt so comfortable making up her lie. Ivy had been sneaking out for over a year. Every weekend, she'd wait until dad fell asleep, climb out our bedroom window, and meet up with her boyfriend Duke, who was 22. Duke had dropped out of community college and worked at a vape shop. Our dad would lose his mind if he knew. Ivy was only 16. I'd covered for her at least 30 times. If dad came to check on us, I'd say she was in the bathroom. If he asked where she was, I'd say she was at a friend's house. Last month, I started talking to this guy from my chemistry class named Jim. He was sweet, made me laugh, and actually listened when I talked. Ivy hated it. She'd roll her eyes whenever I mentioned him and told me I was too available and would scare him off. 2 weeks ago, Jim asked if he could come over to work on our chemistry project. I asked dad, and he said yes as long as we stayed in the living room. Jim came over, we worked on the project for 2 hours, and dad was in the kitchen the whole time. The next day, Ivy had a huge fight with Duke. She came home crying and furious. I tried to comfort her, but she pushed me away and said, "At least I'm not desperate like you." That Friday, Ivy snuck out like usual. I covered for her when dad came to check on us at midnight. Saturday morning, dad took me to breakfast. We were sitting at IHOP when he put his fork down and looked at me seriously. "Your sister told me you've been sneaking boys into your room at night through the window. She said she's been too scared to say anything, but she's worried about you." I stared at him. "What? Dad, that's not true." He looked disappointed. "Ivy said you'd deny it. She said you've been acting different lately, staying up late on your phone, being secretive, because I've been texting Jim. He came over once in the living room and you were right there. I want to believe you, but Ivy was really upset when she told me. I was grounded for 2 weeks. No phone, no friends over, no going out except for school. Dad installed a lock on the outside of our bedroom window. Ivy acted so concerned in front of dad, then whispered to me, 'It's for your own good.' Then she made me help her pick the lock so she could keep sneaking out to see Duke. Jim stopped texting me after a week. Ivy kept sneaking out, coming back at 3 a.m. smelling like cigarettes. One night she woke me up at 4 a.m. giggling and clearly drunk. 'Thanks for not being a snitch. You're a good sister.' 2 weeks of being grounded for something I didn't do. Jim wouldn't talk to me. Dad didn't trust me anymore. And Ivy was sleeping peacefully after another night with her 22-year-old boyfriend. That Friday, Ivy texted dad that she was sleeping over at her friend Becca's house to study. I knew she was really meeting Duke at his apartment. I sat there on the couch watching dad trust Ivy completely, while he'd stopped trusting me. I picked up my phone and texted him a photo. It was a screenshot from Ivy's private Instagram, the one dad didn't know about. Ivy and Duke, his hand around her waist, her sitting on his lap at some party. His neck tattoo was visible. He clearly wasn't 16. I added one line. Ivy's not at Becca's. She's at her boyfriend Duke's apartment. He's 22. She's been sneaking out for over a year. Dad's face went white. He stood up so fast he knocked over his drink. "Where did you get this?" "Her private Instagram." He grabbed his keys. "What's the address?" I gave it to him. 20 minutes later, my phone started blowing up from Ivy's friends. Dad had shown up at Duke's apartment and banged on the door. Ivy was there, wearing clothes I'd never seen, makeup done up, clearly not studying. Dad dragged her out while she screamed. Duke tried to say they were just friends, until dad threatened to call the police for being with a minor. When they got home, Ivy burst into our room, mascara running down her face. "You told him! You're such a snitch!" Dad came in right behind her. "She's not the snitch. You are. You lied about your sister to cover your own tracks." Ivy tried to deny it until dad showed her screenshots from Duke's social media, pictures of them together going back months. She finally broke down and admitted everything. Dad grounded her on the spot. "No phone, no laptop, no leaving, except for school. Just like you wanted for your sister," dad said. Ivy's been grounded for the past month. Dad ungrounded me the same night and apologized. Jim started texting me again after I explained what happened. Ivy barely talks to me now. When she does, it's to call me a traitor. But she lied first. She was willing to ruin my life to cover her tracks. I just told the truth.